So while we're getting this race started, what do you think is going to be the item? What do you think their go mode item is going to be?
In this case, I'm going to say the bow. The bow tends to hide a lot.
All right, both runners finding a heart container, and looks like we're getting a map check from Flip already.
Yeah, that was very quick. I missed it, but catch it on the restream. Looks like we got a red crystal for Hera, a normal crystal for Eastern, and a red pendant for Desert.
Karn making his way down in the sewers. We'll find out what kind of escape seed we've got. And it's the Fire Rod.
Fire Rod's a fun one. That's an item I love to have.
Yeah, I like starting with the Fire Rod. You definitely got to be careful. You definitely have to make sure you know where all the extra pots are. Finding another heart container in the sewers.
Wow. Very healthy seed.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we'll have to worry about any of our runners dying too quickly.
Oh no. Yeah, Fire Rod's definitely a good item to start with because it opens up, like, immediately you can light torches and fire source and all that.
Yeah, it does have some drawbacks though. For some of the enemies, the death animations with the Fire Rod take a lot of time.
That is true. So I mean, once you find something else, you'll want to use that, but it's still a good start.
Yeah, it looks like Karn is being very, very thorough with his kills. Finding bombs finally, so I think that's what he was trying to go for. So I have a feeling I'm going to see him lay off the Fire Rod shots for a little while.
Hopefully. Going through just fine. I tend to get caught up by those green guards there.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of a standard seed tend to be fairly identical. It basically just comes down to executions to who gets out first.
Yeah, we won't know who, or we won't really see any route diversions, is what I meant, until probably after Kakariko Village. And just a big 20 in that Zelda chest.
You'd think she'd try to bribe one of the guards with it or something.
Maybe the ball and chain guy doesn't need just a big 20. Maybe if you had the 300 in that chest, they'd take it.
Both of our runners are making their way out of the sewers, and it looks like Flip has a slight lead at the moment. It looks like Karn hunting for bombs might have slowed him down quite a bit more than he expected.
Although they are only about a room transition apart. Karn running really low on magic, but luckily once you get into the sewers, there's several magic pots you can refill on.
That is true, and like you said, if you know where the torches are, the Fire Rod can really help with that also.
That is definitely true. And since this is standard mode, we're going to get the free light cone through the sewers.
Flip looks like he's just tanking everything, just charging right on through those rats.
Yeah, it's going pretty good. Just the map, which means there is going to be something in Sanctuary chest, so can't really skip it. which is one of my more favorite chests to skip, just because it takes a while to walk around the guy. Flip getting the key on the first try. Killing the right rat.
Karn not having any trouble either. And then we'll get to see what's in the back of Escape.
Ooh, the gloves.
Power gloves, the fighter shield, and another big 20.
Power gloves are always really nice. Alright, now this is pretty much the earliest possible place we could see some route divergence, but it's still kind of unlikely. Just a heart piece in Sanctuary.
Yeah, there are some runners that like to save and quit from this point and take the south route to Kakariko. I personally prefer to go to the Lumberjack tree first.
Right. Speaking of route diversions, looks like Flip's going over to the right. Is he going Houlihan?
I think he might be.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going Houlihan. Interesting. Normally only see this really in Key Sanity, but having the rupees would be pretty nice once you get to Zora.
Getting a tree pull from Karn.
Magic. It's handy since he was fresh out. And fairies from the bush crab. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I've seen that once or twice.
Wow, it was a real quick ledge check. Let's see if I can catch what it was on the restream. It's just 3 bombs. Not gonna be going for that. Yeah, here's the south route we were talking about. Houlihan is really convenient for that since it starts you from Link's house.
Karn opting to pick up the 20 rupees in the forest. Flip obviously would skip that since he does have the Houlihan rupees.
Oh yeah, I would hope so. And just another big 20 in the wow, what is that called? In the thieves'
hideout.
Hideout? Yeah.
Got a heart container in the library and 10 arrows at the race game. So the southern edge Kakariko was pretty much useless.
And not a lot there at all. With 3 bombs, Flip will have enough bombs to check Kakariko, but he'll want to find more if he plans on going South Shore to check Mini Moldorm Cave and all that. Karn, meanwhile, has 6 bombs, so he should be set. Flip going for the chicken clip, which can be kind of dangerous because you can actually soft lock your game doing that.
You know, I've heard about that, and I've actually tried to do it in some cases, and I have yet to do that intentionally or accidentally.
Wow, the Moon Pearl and the Flute both found. Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
have.
sure that'll be a pleasant sight.
Yeah. Flute and Kakariko is always really nice because you can just go straight activate it. But yeah, back to the soft lock. I haven't been able to do it either, so I don't know how common it actually is.
And the flippers at that.
Wow. Talk about all the progression.
Flip on the way to get his flute. Karn picking up his flippers.
Now Flip's gonna be... There wasn't anything else useful in Blindside, was there? I don't believe there was.
I don't believe there was, no.
Okay.
So at this point, we are either a glove upgrade or a hammer away from Dark World access.
That is true. The Dark World is always really nice. It gives you a lot of options for routing. Both runners are going to go ahead and activate their flutes.
Swag Deck National Anthem side by side. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, definitely not. Thanks to all who paid their respects during that. Beautiful song. No, they did not find any bottles on the way through here. So they are going to have to come back for the sick kid eventually.
Flip doing his Lost Wood checks, Karn checking his South Kakariko.
Basically just mirroring each other at the moment. Following in each other's footsteps.
With both of them having the flute, it would make the dam very easy to get to at this point.
That is true. Once they check their last items, yep, there goes Karn, just fluting over to the dam. It also makes Ice Rod Cave a lot quicker to check. And Flip going for the 20 rupees. But I mean, I guess with the flippers, that puts Zora into play because Waterfall of Wishing is there too, and the ledge. So I bet he's trying to get all the rupees he can before he gets there.
Karn finding the first bottle. It is empty though.
No. Flip going to the desert. Just a heart container on the ledge though.
While he checks Agina's cave, Karn is on his way to the Mini Moldorm cave.
See if there's anything good in store. Does he have enough magic to kill? Oh, he's gonna have to use bombs. Using bombs on mini Moldorms can either go really well or really not. Their movement is kind of interesting. And just bombs in Agina. Nothing really there.
So far, it looks like all the progression has been in Kakariko, minus Karn finding the blue mail in the Mini Moldorm cave.
Right. And still yet more hearts. Karn fluting over to Ice Rod Cave, I believe. Does save a little bit of time to flute instead of walk. Since they have the flippers, they get to take this nice little shortcut. Don't get to see that too often.
Yeah, they definitely have plenty of mobility right now.
Now with the flute activated, they do already have access to Death Mountain, but just the first half, so that's what, 2 items, I believe? Now 1, because no mirror yet.
They can sequence break the old man if they know how.
Okay, yeah, that's where I pulled 2 from.
Which, of all the dark rooms, that is the easiest one in my opinion.
That one's pretty close. I find Eastern easier personally, but it's a toss-up. And Flip gonna get his blue mail.
Karn on his way to visit the man under the bridge.
Alright, where's he off to now? And a bottle!
And it's a vanilla bottle even.
That's awesome. It's like Karn's gonna swim back, maybe check Waterfall of Wishing? Or is he gonna swim up and go to Eastern?
I suspect he's going to the waterfall.
Yeah, okay. Because, yeah, I guess Eastern with the flute would be really quick to just go.
Yeah, having the flute this early can really mess with your routing if you forget about it.
Oh, yeah. I did that exact thing once. Activated the flute and then forgot about it. And Quake in the waterfall and the mirror!
Well, there's a little bit more at Death Mountain for you.
Yeah, it gives them access to at least the first part of Hera and maybe the rest of it depending on where the big key is.
They've got the fire rod.
Yep, they do. Oh wait, yeah, they do. Huh. It does give them access to all of Hera. Does Fire Rod damage Control Dorm though?
No, they would still need to find the sword or the hammer.
Okay. So they could access all the items in there, just not clear it.
Right.
So getting his bottle. And Karn's gonna go over to the eastern route.
But with Flip having already done the Houlihan tricks, that will give him enough rupees, with you include the rupees that are on Zora's Ledge, to find out what King Zora has for sale today.
Whether it's a scam or a... What's the other word I'm looking for?
Let's be honest, it's King Zora. It's always a scam.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's why I can't think of one. Oh, an Ether in Sahashal's hut. It's already 2 medallions down out of 3. And there's Karn's map check.
How much you want to bet Meyer and Turtle Rock both require bombos?
That would be evil, but I could totally see that happening. And he's gonna go right around for those rupees, while Karn enters Eastern Palace.
So while Flip goes shopping and Karn goes dungeon diving, do you think there's a possibility that we're going to see a Pepsi tonight?
I really, like, it's always a possibility for sure, but I won't make any real guesses until I see the pendant layout in the Dark World.
I don't know, maybe I'm just sadistic at times.
Now, for the runner's sake, I hope not, but it would be an interesting match if it was. Also, for their sake, I hope they find a sword. If there's one thing I hate going without in a seed, it's definitely a sword.
Flip on his second lap, finding out what we get today.
And a scam. But a better scam than normal. Got back, what is that? 20% of his investment? I'm bad at math.
You're close enough.
And Flip going up Death Mountain.
Karn finding an arrow upgrade, and I believe that's his first item of the dungeon?
Yeah, the other... I didn't see what the chest after the skeletons held, but the first one was just the big key, so not a lot in Eastern so far. Oh good, chat confirming my math.
20 on top of Spectacle Cave, and inside we've got
Red mail.
red mail.
Flip opting not to go for it though.
That tells you he's pretty confident with his execution here. Looks like we have a pendant in Thieves Town and Mire with
Oh wow.
5 crystal in Skull Woods.
Interesting. Thieves Town and Mire. This could be a pet seed. But we'll see if it comes to that. Meanwhile, Flip entering Tower of Hera. This is a prime example of where this is why I really like having swords. Because instead you have to use like bombs and fire rod to trigger the switches. Well, I guess if you had boomerang, it wouldn't be super bad.
But at this point, you have to pray that one of the 2 items is a weapon. Otherwise, you won't be able to complete the dungeon.
Yeah, definitely. But Karn also did not go for that red mail, so this could be interesting. Both of our runners taking fairly similar routing, though.
Looks like Flip missed the peg just barely.
Yeah, didn't quite get it. Which actually makes this a lot harder, because now he has very, very limited dodge room. But he makes it through. Luckily, there's a whole lot of magic in this room.
And with the big key in hand, Flip can go ahead and make his way up and realize that he doesn't have a reliable way of damaging these, what are these things called? I forget.
I don't know, I always just called them the bumper enemies. I don't know their real name. Oh, but you can reload. Interesting. I don't know if I knew that.
You know, I knew that, I just don't know if I ever considered it.
Yeah. Still a good move by Flip. Oh, Karn taking a death to the Moldorns.
That's never good, because now he's got to do that whole room all over again.
Yeah, that's not very fun. And the hammer. So much for not being able to damage Moldorn.
That was definitely a lucky draw.
Oh yeah. And that's our Dark World access too. And a bottle of blue goo.
That's our 3rd bottle for the seed.
Now, definitely a very survival-focused seed. Red mail, lots of hearts, 2 bottles. Meanwhile, Karn making his way back through the
He's
tower.
very low on health. He's got to be real careful one more time.
Looks like he made it through.
Carnathfd Death Ward.
Oh, okay, that was intentional. I looked away for a split second.
Yeah, he could have mirrored out, but he was really low on health, and this gives him 5 parts to start with. So
Gotcha.
Looks like we're having a bit of technical difficulties with Flipstream, but we won't worry about that just yet.
Yeah, hopefully we get that back pretty quick, because he's still streaming, but Karn trying to damage the bumper enemies with the bombs, realizing it doesn't work, and now is going to mirror out. Oh no. It's going to lead him away from the hammer. And he's opting to go.
He's opting to get the red mail.
Yeah. Which honestly, I probably would. But then again, I'm not nearly as experienced, so. Now Karn's save warping.
Oh, that is going to be painful because he's missing out on the hammer.
Yeah, that could lose him a good amount of time. At least until he finds a sword or something else that he knows can damage the bumpers. Hmm.
Now we've got a little bit of Karn in stereo here.
Yeah. Double the Karn, double the fun. But we can hear Flip getting some items. Sounds like he's probably in Paradox Cave would be my guess after Tower of Hera and getting the hammer.
Karn making his way up to Zora for his life lesson.
So my question is, how is it a life lesson when we're always going to go back to Zora anyway?
Because it's a lesson you keep repeating for the rest of your life.
That's fair. And we got Flip back. Looks like while we were gone, he did kill Moldorm and is opting to go to the Dark World. I don't have his stream pulled up, so I can't judge too much. Apparently, he also found the ice rod and the mushroom.
Yeah, with having access to East Death Mountain, you know, he would have checked Paradox Cave, he would have checked Spiral Cave, I imagine.
Oh, and he also has the Cane of Samaria. That's interesting. Seed's kind of pointing at Meyer. Looks like Karn. Don't know where he's going.
Karn's on his way to Desert Palace. He doesn't have the book yet, so he can't get into the dungeon, nor does he have the Titansmith, so he can't check it through that route either. So he's going to Agina's Cave and the Ledge at this point.
Okay. Unfortunately for him, we know that the Agena Cave does not hold any kind of progression. Just some bombs. Meanwhile, Flip's gonna go down and do the digging game, and potentially the stump kid.
Yeah, at this point, I would check the stump kit at the Grove. I would use the mirror to check Cave 45. I would check Hype Cave.
Yeah, do all the Southern Dark World checks, but 4 digs on that dig game. It's pretty good. Looks like Karn is debating on where to go next. That hammer being in Hera and gonna put him a bit behind. And he's running out of locations to check pretty fast.
And it's technically not a sequence break. There's nothing preventing him from getting there through normal means.
Other than the knowledge that you can reset the pots and kill the bumpers.
Flip finding some bombs in Cave 45, and it looks like he is in fact on his way to Hype Cave.
And Karn really thinking about where to go. He's gonna start double checking things.
He could check Sick Kid, but they won't necessarily have anything of value there.
It would be interesting if he did though. Like, what if it was Mitts?
That would be interesting.
Or hopefully it would be, if it was like a sword, that would hopefully lead him back to Hera. But we'll see, because it doesn't look like he remembered Sick Kid.
And the Hype Cave having little more than the Cane of Burnout, so not all that hype.
Was that like a 2 out of 10? Burn is useful.
I'd give Burnout a 2 or 3.
Looks like Karn's doing the sequence break to get the old man. Which is much harder without a sword.
Yeah, without a sword and without any viable weapons, you don't really have the usual sound cues that you're used to.
Karn made it through just fine though, and just a piece of heart for his sequence break. Looks like he's gonna go back up though and try to... Never mind.
He tricked us into thinking he was going the right way.
Man. I think other than Sick Kid though, I'm pretty sure he's really out of locations.
Because at this point, he can't even fight Aghanim.
Right. Doesn't have the bug net or a sword or the cape.
Oh, I think he was trying to fill up some of those empty bottles.
Yeah, that would have made sense. Meanwhile, Flip's going all the way up to Catfish, it looks like. It's a long trek that a lot of runners like to put off, so we'll see if it yields anything useful. And just a heart container. Okay, Karn's back on Death Mountain.
Hopefully, the third time's a charm.
Looks like he might be going back up.
He pretty much has to. There's really nowhere else to go.
At least I am curious what Sick Kid has, but hopefully Flip will check that eventually.
Hammer is in the compass chest in the Tower of Hera, which is just after the group of enemies that Karn had gone into and couldn't defeat and left.
Hopefully he's about to figure it out, though.
Flip, meanwhile, making his way into Skull Woods, getting a little trolled by the bumper there.
Ah! He bombed one of them into the pit. Smart. Meanwhile, Flip taking a dip into Skull Woods. Let's see. Just a big 20 for the beginning. And the bow! So much for bow go mode.
Yeah, that kind of shot that one dead.
No, well, it's a better weapon sometimes than the hammer. It has range. That part's good. Luckily, Karn is about to get his hammer, and that will open up a lot to him.
I'm surprised we didn't see a few frustration swings there.
Yeah. Or frustration arm punches. Since no sword. Looks like Flip's at least going to the back. We'll see if he, yep, looks like he plans to full clear it. Oh, no. He found the silver arrows, apparently.
Apparently, silver arrows is somewhere in East Death Mountain.
Yeah. Interesting. Hopefully we'll see that on Karn's side in a few minutes here. Oh, but no sword. Flip can't finish Skullwoods. I've made that exact same mistake.
Those vines.
Yeah. I have done that several times, including in my tournament matches. Because sword is just something you take for granted, so by the time you can get to the back of Skullwoods, you're like, oh, I should be able to clear it.
Karn picking up his crystal from Moldorm.
Alright, let's see the Eastern Death Mountain. Looks like Flip's back in Skullwoods. Oh, he's probably going over to the bumper cave check.
He could be checking Bumper Cave and the Graveyard Ledge too.
Yeah, mirror does help with that. Gonna find out if cape's required. And it's a shovel.
So we have no idea.
Yeah, maybe. And a big 20 in Spiral Cave. And now we're gonna find out what big items were in Paradox Cave. And by find out, I mean we pretty much know what they are, but yep, there's the silvers.
And the mushroom. Meanwhile, we've got a graveyard check here from Flip.
just a big 20. And there's Samaria. We're having a bit of trouble killing that last Moldorm. Hoping to switch to the Fire Rod instead. And the mushroom has 5 rupees.
Well, with Karn now having access to the Dark World, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. He has to know he's behind at this point.
Oh yeah. I can't imagine. Meanwhile, it looks like Flip's gonna go over and check the pod area. Karn was gonna go to Thieves Town, but changed his mind.
In theory, Flip could clear Palace of Darkness with what he has now. It would be helpful if he found the lamp, but he does still have a fire source with the rod.
Right. So it's out of logic, but he could still do it if he knows the dark rooms.
I don't think he realizes he's a few coins short, though.
Ooh, yeah, that is a... But he hasn't checked Sahasrara, and I don't remember if there was rupees in here.
I believe there was, actually. I think he'll get lucky here.
Saved by a thread. Yep, big 20. Meanwhile, Karn getting his not really hype cave. One wonders if Flip realized that he was short. I don't actually know what happens when you bring Kiki all the way here and don't have enough rupees. Does he just, like, bail?
I'm sure Kiki has something to say.
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm actually really curious about that now.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know if I've ever done that in the vanilla game either. Looks like Flip opting to take the normal side of pod first, skipping the Bowlock side for now.
Well, when you find the first key, it does tend to make things a little easier.
That is true. I'm used to going Bowlock side just to save that key, but it's because I played a lot of Key Sanity and not as much normal.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness is one of the dungeons where you really have to worry about key management.
It's also one where you can save some time with it, though, because if you can keep track, you can avoid opening certain doors. Like, for instance, Flip skipped the vanilla big key chest, and I don't know if that was because of the key count or if he just skipped it, but I wasn't paying enough attention.
At the time, it was because of the key count.
Okay.
Which, there's the big key anyways, so...
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, the bow side of Palace of Darkness will always have at least one small key.
Okay, so it's just the one item over there. Can't count the number of times I've done that exact same thing.
Gotta love the map troll.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, now he's going up for the big key chest, which is a small key.
And a key that he very easily could have skipped.
Oh yeah. Takes a key to open it, gets a key for it. Meanwhile, Karn making his way through Skull Woods.
I'm sure he'll be happy to find his bow here in a few minutes.
Oh yeah. Now we're 45 minutes in, still no sword. Longest I've seen anyone go without one is 2 hours, and that was me.
What we didn't tell the runners is that we surprised them with a swordless seed. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if that were true, then Flip could have killed Mothula, but that would be fun. And Flip going to clear out Eastern as well while he's over here.
So at this point, we're still quite a few items from Go mode, but it looks like a sword, the lamp, or the Titan's Mitts are going to be one of the next major progression items.
Yeah, we'll see which of those we find first. There's just a bomb capacity upgrade in the Sea House. Did Flip enter Thieves Town itself when he was here?
I believe Flip skipped Thieves Town.
Oh, interesting.
With Thieves Town being the green pendant, it has a total of 5 items, but whether or not they're useful is anyone's guess.
Right. Alright, and Karn is taking the dip into Thieves Town. We'll see if he gets anything useful out of it. And the Bloomerang.
A lot of people tend to favor the blue boomerang over the red.
Yeah. For me, it depends on the circumstance, but I like the red one a lot. Even though it does create lag, it's still super cool.
I think that puts you and I in the minority together at least.
Awesome.
Karn finding the burrito.
And the compass. So nothing in the front half. Meanwhile, Flip is sequence breaking the dark rooms of Eastern. Another one of the easiest dark room sets in the game.
The back half of Eastern is a little more difficult, but at the same time, if you can complete the dungeon without the lamp, by all means, go for it.
Oh yeah. And just a bomb capacity upgrade. Well, looks like Flip is gonna go check that. Or he's gonna go clear the dungeon. Oh yeah, and there's torches you can light in here as well. I forgot about that. Just not in that spot. It's gonna opt to reset the room to reset positioning. Can't quite find the second Igor though. But he gets it.
There's the key.
Beautiful. This room is quite a bit harder than the first set, but it is still doable. And flips through.
Yeah, not having a sword really made a lot of these rooms a lot harder than they're used to.
Yeah. Flip getting through the Toho room without any problems. Let's see if Armos have anything useful for us besides the crystal.
Well, with several arrows, this fight is considerably simpler.
Oh yeah, it's very quick. And there it is, we're done. And just the map. Meanwhile though, it does look like Carnathfd did the full clear Thieves Town. He does not have the small key, which means it must be on blind.
Or in the big chest.
Or yeah, if blind has an item, small keys can be in the one room that they're locked behind. Blind without a sword is a little bit harder, but definitely still doable as well.
Well, he's got a full bottle of magic and the cane of Burna, so...
And the red mail.
In a pinch, this should be a fairly simple fight, even if it goes off the rails.
Oh yeah. Which he's gotten off script, but with the cane of Burna, yeah, this fight is a breeze.
And there it goes.
Well, it's down and just an arrow capacity upgrade. So yeah, the small key is in the big, the small key's in the big chest, which we can't get to. It looks like Flip is going into Swamp.
Without the hook shot, this could be interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting play for sure. It's a big risk. It can either pay off really big or be a waste of time. We'll see. I like it though. These are the kind of risks that I'm scared to take in my races, but you know, maybe that's why I'm 1-2 instead of 2-0. And the sword!
53 minutes and 20 seconds into the match, and we finally found our first sword.
Awesome. I'd say that's a good payoff so far. So that also gives you the ability to use the medallions as well.
Yeah, with Swamp Palace being one of the higher item dense dungeons, you know, it definitely helps to get in here, especially if you do happen to find something like the sword or the hook shot.
Right. It becomes a very convenient play. Karn opting to save and quit after seeing the graveyard ledge.
So at this point, if you're Karn, you know you're behind, you know you're missing some items. Where do you go from here?
I'm trying to think of where he hasn't gone so far. Flip finding half magic, meanwhile. Honestly, I would go to Pod, which is what he's doing, because that's a really dense item location, and you can full clear it.
Yeah, I like the play on Pod. He's already cleared pretty much all of Eastern Palace except for Armo, so I have a feeling he's going to wait until he finds the lamp before he actually clears that.
Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me. I still don't opt to go for that last dark rune. If I can avoid it, anyway.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness is one of those weird situations where you could find the lamp in pod, but after a certain point, there's no point in checking.
Yeah. It's a delicate balance. Flip making his way over to the east or west side of Swamp. And these are the last items he can check unless he finds the hook shot. Unless he didn't get the big key, I didn't see.
I don't think he has the big key yet.
In which case, in this dungeon, it only opens up one more item, because you don't need the big key to get to the boss. But just a heart container first off.
Karn looks like he's using some key management tricks here. Opting to clear the bow side of pod instead of going through the main door.
Yeah, interesting. But that's a key sanity habit from my days at least.
And the last chest has a compass, so he is locked out until he finds the hook shot.
Still, I'd say that sword was worth the trip.
But this could let him clear Skull Woods now.
That is true. What other options do they have left to them with their current item set? They don't have Titans, so no Mire, no Turtle Rock.
No Ice Palace.
Yeah, no Ice Palace. No Desert because no Book or Titans minutes.
It looks like we're stuck checking the overworld, but I can't really think of where else they haven't checked, unless Karn happens to stumble across something in here in the back half of pod.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember if Flip checked all of the back half.
I don't believe he did. I don't remember him coming back here. Flip taking a lot of damage from the cauliflower boulders. But that's understandable. Those things are kind of wild.
That's funny because I call them Brussels sprouts.
Nice.
Flip opting to pick up his red mail, Karn finding a key and the boots.
Oh man. That is a nice find. Yeah, chat making a good point. Technically they can do Spike Cave with Burna, Bottles, Power Glove, and Hammer.
Flip refilling with some very much needed fairies.
It took his health quite a bit up there. It looks like Flip might be going to do that Spike Cave check.
Now that Karn has the boots, it does give him options with the King's Tomb, the Bonk Rocks, and the library, although we already know the library only has a heart container.
Right. But yeah, King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks could definitely have something, because we're running real low on locations. Again. I think other than this, like if there's nothing here and there's nothing...
And Flip finding nothing but a bee in a bottle.
Yeah.
While Karn looks like he's on his way to fight a Helmasaur King.
Yeah, so there's either got to be more progression on Helmasaur, on Mothula, or what was the other one? Or in one of those locations, the Pop Rocks or the King's Tomb.
Skull Woods, we already found 2 items from, though, so Mothula is not going to have any progression.
Oh, that is a good point. Alright, so Mothula's out. That leaves us down to just those 3, I believe, unless I'm... Oh, and then... No, I already said King's Tomb. Yeah, no, I think that's it. That is true, though. Kippy pointing out that Mothula would open the Super Bomb from Pyramid Fairy. Because they've already cleared Hera.
That's right, I forgot Hera was the other 5-6 crystal.
And it looks like Flip's gonna go do just that.
No, I don't believe either of them have checked Sick Kid yet. So there's one other spot that we haven't
Oh,
considered.
yeah. That is true.
Karn just barely getting out of that turtle room.
Yeah, I was almost lost in the dark there.
I say just barely, even though he has almost full health.
Alright. I thought you were talking about the light, because it looked like it was.
And here is the Helmasaur King. 17 hammer blows to the face will take out his mask. And with the silver arrows, if he can get a shot off, all it will take is 1.
One shot, 1 kill. Having silver arrows for Helmasaur is my favorite.
No trouble whatsoever for Karn.
I think the only time I like having silver arrows more than Helmasaur is Vitreous. And Flip's gonna go fight the big moth.
Both of our runners currently have 2 crystals. And whether or not Karn goes for Eastern, it looks like he's going to go get the Armless Knights while he's at it.
Mothula Hammer's a not super pleasant experience, but Flip making it look easy. Just the big key, which is going to lead to the non-useful item.
So that'll be Flip's 3rd crystal, which is going to be the 2nd of the 5-6 crystals. Karn on his way to Armos Knights for his 3rd crystal.
So I think he's got a slight edge here. I would say Flip has a slight edge, but it's not a lot since Karn has those boots that opens up a couple more locations and lets him go a lot faster.
That's true, but Flip has the advantage of he's checked a lot of overworld spots already.
That is true. Hopefully Flip goes back and finds those boots sooner. We'll see where he's headed off to.
Because at this point, I'm pretty sure Karn is going to wait until he finds the hookshot before he goes into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, that's what I usually do unless I have no other choice, but it looks like Flip is making the dip into Thieves Town as well. And then Karn about to face the Armos Knights himself.
Karn getting the quick kill even. Last night not even turning red.
Yeah, with silver arrows, that's a lot easier. It's still possible with normal arrows, but the silvers makes that a lot easier. Alright, where is Karn going to head off to now? Oh, he's going to turn in the green pendant.
He's got to turn in the green pendant, and there is still the issue of not having Titansmiths.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there they are.
Well, I think that firmly puts Karn in the lead at this point.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say so.
Flip is on his way to rescue Blind, which will give him the green pendant and allow him to pick up the Titansmiths, but it's going to be a long time coming.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we'll see how long it takes Karn to go get that sword in Swamp, but it's possible there still is another one floating around, because a lot of locations just opened up with those Titansmids. However, without a sword, Karn won't be able to access Mire or Turtle Rock, because he can't use medallions without it. So we'll see if that makes any kind of impact, if the only sword option outside of those dungeons is the one in Swamp. But that's a big if.
Yeah, it is. I gotta wonder where the other three swords are, because we've checked quite a few spaces already and haven't come across anything other than Swamp Palace.
Yeah.
I know I've seen a clip where the Master Sword, Tempered Sword, and Golden Sword were all in the rando room in Ganon's tower, which was,
Dear.
I'm sure, absolutely hilarious at the time.
Well, that would have been brutal. I've had 2 swords in Ganon's tower, but not 3, let alone in the same room. That's crazy. But it looks like Karn's gonna go do his catfish check.
Flip not realizing that he doesn't have the key.
Well, he'll soon realize he doesn't need it, luckily. Alright, now we're gonna see Flip's blind fight, which is made a lot simpler with a sword, because all swords do the same damage to blind. It's just 3 hits per cycle.
Yeah, Flip making this fight look very, very easy.
Beautiful blind fight.
And it looks like Karn's on his way to Mire.
Yeah, although he can't enter the dungeon itself, he's still got the Mire Shed and the Checkerboard Cave. And he's got Desert Palace over here as well.
And he can open up Mire since he has Quake. Well, once he finds a sword.
Yeah, he doesn't have a sword to use it yet. Oh, and the Sick Kid check. And just a big 20.
Taking the poor kid's lunch money. How dare you?
It's brutal. Looks like Flip's going back to Pod. Hopefully. Or he's just turning... Well, why would he be going to the Dark World if he was just turning the pendant in?
Karn finding a shield in Checkerboard Cave.
Alright. It's helpful, but not needed.
So no progression to be had outside of Mire. Let's see where he decides to go into desert.
Oh, and he's going back for the pendant check. Almost forgot.
I think Karn forgot that he didn't have the big key.
I've totally done that before. Just a map on the torch, so not a boots required desert palace. Luckily Karn has them, but
On to the west side, east side of desert. Flip, meanwhile, making his way into the back half of Pod, remembering that he has the fire rod, I hope.
well, with the sword he might be able to just do the dark rooms himself. Swords make dark rooms a lot easier. At least I feel.
And a vanilla big key in desert.
Flip's going for the hammer jump. Still a couple pixels. He's still pixel too low. That trick is very difficult because it is a double frame or double pixel perfect trick, which there are setups for, but sometimes, especially in like a tournament setting, it can be kind of hard to get that setup, but he gets it.
And gets 300 rupees for his trouble.
Yep, and now we're going for the dark room. Just a compass.
I was about to ask why Karn didn't finish desert, and then I remembered that it's just a pendant.
Yeah. It looks like he's making the dive into Ice Palace. Personally, my least favorite dungeon of the lot.
Well, with the fire rod, he doesn't need the medallion, so this is within logic.
Oh yeah. It's a good play, for sure. Flip's still trying to get through the last part of the dark maze. Did he get the other chest?
I'd like to think he did. I honestly have no idea because it is impossible to tell most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think I heard the sound, but I might have missed it. Okay, chat telling us it was just a hard piece. But now he's about to find his boots. Karn, meanwhile, finding nothing but keys in Ice Palace so far, but still fairly early on. It looks like Flip's gonna go for the dark pod rooms.
With only one heart, so this should be interesting.
Yeah. Kind of scary. See, that room that Karn just left is a prime example of why I love the red meringue more than the blue meringue. Because you can use it to trigger those switches, save bombs. Which I need to because I'm bad at Ice Palace bomb jumping, but with these runners it's probably not a problem.
Yeah, when I first started learning randomizers, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was to practice this jump.
Oh yeah.
And it took me hours to get it right.
See, I got it fairly early on, but like I go for it and I mess it up like 3/4 of the time. Especially in a runs or race setting where I get nervous, I'm bound to miss it at least 4 or 5 times.
Carnathfd's having a little bit of trouble getting the lining just right, but he's made it through.
Wow, that was very good. Going for the double bomb kill on these penguins. And he does still have a key, so that's going to make accessing the east side a lot easier.
Looks like he's opting to take the standard route, though.
But not enough magic to kill the Freezords, but he does have a blue potion, so not a huge deal. And now it looks like Karn's going to go back and take the east side.
Damage boosting across the spikes.
And flips through the dark rooms and facing Helmasaur. Now for me, the sword isn't really the problem in that bomb jump, it's just the positioning, like the vertical positioning. I always miss it. But Flip making quick work of Helmasaur as well, and Karn finding a sword in Ice Palace.
That'll make things a little easier for him from here on out, now that we know where the second sword is.
Oh yeah. That's gonna lead him, he's not gonna have to dive swamp before going to Mothula.
So one more item to be had here in Ice Palace.
It looks like Flip's going back up to Death Mountain to access the east side, potentially.
Well, with no hook shot, the only places he can really go are the Super Money Cave and possibly Turtle Rock.
Yeah, depending on which medallion it is.
Karn making his way across the gap to check the big chest.
Just the compass.
And he's on his way to see a bit of cotton candy about an item.
Oh, and the hook shot up on the island ledge. I'm surprised he's not going for it.
He is. He's opening up Turtle Rock.
Oh,
Dark World.
wow. Yeah, okay. I forget you can go to the real Dark World from here. I only use this one for Turtle Rock. And it's Ether.
Karn is having a little bit of trouble using the hammer on these cloud puffs.
Yeah, it's understandable. The hammer hitbox is really, really wonky sometimes.
And a potion and a fire rod cleans it up quite nicely.
Perfect. Oh, I never thought about taking Super Bunny Cave from that way. Interesting. That's really smart.
It is so much faster when you get it from the top side.
Oh yeah, I can see that, but wow, I never thought of doing that. And then since you've already opened up Turtle Rock, you can just hop right back over and go into it.
Flip getting a little bit of trolling from his own bomb.
Yeah, pulling it a little too early.
Looks like Karn is gonna wait. He's gonna make his way into Mothula to get his 5/6 crystal.
And then meanwhile, Flip's getting his hookshot and will most likely clear out the rest of Hookshot Cave while he's there. I was initially wondering why he wasn't going for the bottom chest with bonking Pegasus boots, but then I remembered Hookshot is right there. Just a big 20. Another big 20. And another big 20.
So the only thing valuable about Hookshot Cave was the actual hookshot.
That's ironic, but awesome.
And now that he has the hookshot, it looks like he's making the play into Turtle Rock.
Well, it's definitely a good call. There's a few items in here. As well as it being a crystal dungeon.
Now, I have seen the lamp in the vanilla big chest before, so this is entirely possible.
Oh, wow. Not that the Turtle Rock Dark Room is hard, but logically, the game requires you to have a lamp for dark rooms. Since he did find the hookshot, he gets to take the short way around lighting these torches.
The first time I tried to do this room without the hookshot, I was really confused as to why it didn't work the first time.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about using the hookshot when I was initially playing through this, but going down the south way is a lot longer.
Getting a very nice item dash from Flip over here.
Yeah.
Even with half magic, you still gotta be careful about how much magic you actually use.
That's definitely true. In this dungeon, you use a lot of it, but Karn, meanwhile, took down Mothula and gets his 5/6 crystal.
Blink and you miss it.
Oh yeah, that was a real quick fight. Nice Cane of Samaria strat there from Flip, and he finds the cape.
Well, that puts the shovel in logic.
Yeah. See if that ends up being anything important. Because we still don't know what opens Mire. And you never know what's going to be in that dig spot from that shovel.
Yes, we do. Myers Quake.
Oh, that is right. We've already been through there. I'm smart.
That's okay. That's why there's two of us.
Exactly. Flip taking out the Pokey. I don't know their real name, but that's what everyone calls them.
I don't know what their name is supposed to be, but they are pretty much exactly that, Pokies.
Mm-hmm. They're painful. And Karn going up Death Mountain as well.
Karn getting a little bit of trolling from these dead rocks.
Yeah, dead rocks are pretty notorious for that, especially in spots like that. If you hit it in the wrong spot, they'll just completely block you.
I'm sure Karn will be happy to find the hook shot here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since he hasn't gone into swamp yet. It's definitely nice to find it before you even go in there. Aren't checking Spike Cave, which we already know doesn't have anything. So making quick work of the mimics, but just a piece of heart. Oh, but Karn taking another death on his way out.
That won't set him back too far since he can just respawn on the mountain cave. It is still a time loss though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess technically we are in no mode. 'Cause you don't really need lamp.
Yeah, it all depends on whether or not Flip can navigate Turtle Rock Line.
Right, which it looks like he's going for it. So logically we don't know. Like, we're not in no mode. Oh, but he takes... Okay, he manages to save it. Flip almost going the wrong way there, but pulled back at just the right second.
And it looks like he's through.
Oh yeah. That room's fairly easy once you know the path.
Well, we know the lamp can't be here, at least.
That is true. This is one of the places it cannot be. Any place past a dark room. And there's bombs. Not that it's really needed at this point.
Flip is a little low on health. I'd be a little surprised if he doesn't take the safety exit here.
Yeah, I usually end up taking it even if I have good health, but you never know. Yeah, lamp could be on Pyramid Ferry. Could it be in Dig Spot? Was lamp needed to get to Cape? Can't remember.
I think it was.
Okay. No, so one sword was found in Ice Palace, and the other sword was found in Swamp Palace.
And with Flip going into Trinex with only the fighter sword, this is going to be a menu boss.
Fighter sword, 2 hearts. But since fighter sword can't damage him, he does have to swap the hammer. Wow, almost getting sniped there by Trinex. Just barely managing to avoid it. Oh. And I saw him take the hit right before he paused.
That was frame perfect timing. If he had had anything in the bottle, he might have been able to get away with it, but there was just nothing left. Luckily,
he did choose to take the safety door, so it's not going to cost him as much time as it would have, but it's still definitely a time loss. Now, Karn went Super Bunny Cave and then opted to save warp out.
He did pick up his hook shot, so I'm wondering if he's opting to check a few other spots.
Yeah, that's definitely possible, or he could be planning to go Swamp Palace first. But he's turning in the mushroom. Which, yeah, I don't believe had anything, just a blue rupee. Interesting. Thought Flip had already hit it 5 times, but I guess it was a short one.
Yeah, it looks like Karn is going to go ahead and clear Swamp Palace. Flip, unfortunately, taking another death to Trinex.
Oh, yeah. With just the hammer to go with, Trinex can be a very difficult fight. But yeah, Karn definitely making that swamp play, which will pay off slightly since it'll give him the Master Sword, which can be used on Trinex.
And it could potentially give him the lamp also.
That is true. We don't know what's on Argus yet. And we don't know what's in anything past the big chest room. Or in the big chest itself.
I'm sure the lamp, the Master Sword, and maybe even the Tempered Sword would be a really nice find right now.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. But we'll see. We know there's not really a lot in the front half except for that sword.
The half magic was in the compass chest.
Okay, yeah, and half magic. I do believe that's it.
Yeah, the smart play at this point would be to get the compass chest and then just head straight to Argus.
Yeah, we'll see what Karn does, though. Meanwhile, Flip managing to get through this section of Trinex without... Well, he did use a potion. So I didn't actually see how much damage he'd taken. Nice, making quick work of the second phase of Trinex.
Yeah, I've always found phase 2 of Trinex to be easier but trollier.
That's a good way to put it.
Because you've got that random movement of Moldorm, except you know he's always going to be heading towards you as quickly as he can.
Right. So at least you have that knowledge, and if you can pattern it right, it's easy. But with the hammer especially, would be kind of difficult.
And that leaves Flip with nothing left but Swamp and Ice Palace.
Yeah, we'll see which one he opts for first. But it looks like it's going to be Swamp.
Still nothing of real value in Swamp Palace besides the sword and half magic.
Oh,
And
there's
the
the lamp. Oh, there
Come
you
on,
go.
I'll stop talking now.
Yep, there it is. So let's see. I can't keep track far enough back in my head to follow that logic, but that sounds like kind of a nasty string of logic.
Well, you needed the Titansmiths, so you had to clear Thieves Town.
Right. Which... So it was clear Thieves Town, get Titan's Mitts, to go up to Dark Death Mountain to get the hook shot. To then go into Swamp Palace to get the lamp. Okay, that's not super bad.
And then go into Todd and Eastern Palace for the brutes.
Oh yeah, that's true, I guess.
Although the boots aren't really necessary this seed, just useful.
Unless the torch happens to hold the Ganon's Tower big key in Ganon's Tower. But we shall see. At this point, I don't think there's anything left that could be on the pedestal, is there?
Oh no, pedestal died a long time ago.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about it for a while.
Yeah, they are clearly in go mode at this point, especially
yeah.
Karn.
Karn is just gotta get up there. Now the question is, will they find, since there was no sword in Turtle Rock, will they find a sword in GT before going up, or are we going to be seeing a Ganon Master Sword with silvers?
With the way the items have been spread out, I'm pretty sure we're going to find a sword in Ganon's tower somewhere.
Right, unless the seed's super trolly, like there could be like a sword on Pyramid Fairy, or in one of the fetch quests that opens up with Titan Smiths. Like Smiths, Purple Chest, Hammer Pegs, all that fun stuff. But we'll see.
Or we could find a sword in Ganon's tower or a big chest.
Yeah, that is also true. Nobody ever checks that.
Flip fighting Menu Boss the Second.
Yeah, with Fighter's Sword again. Fighter's Sword can't damage any of the Dark World bosses, I believe, right?
Just blind.
Yep, just blind. So yep, everything else you have to use the hammer for, which usually, especially in this case, ends up being a nice menu simulator game.
So after this fight, Flip will still need to go through Ice Palace. So at this point, it's going to be a race to see who can clear their final dungeon first.
Yeah, Karn's got a slight lead, but Turtle Rock is also a little bit longer. So we shall see. That's true, you can do Fighter Sword spin to get Master Sword damage. So Fighter Sword can damage them, but it takes a lot longer. Because the hammer does Tempered Sword, so.
And Flip gathering his 6th crystal of the seed.
Yep. And now we just see him. Is he going back in? He's going back in for the big chest.
Well, he got the big chest and one more item on the left side of Swamp. I believe it was a heart container.
Oh, did he not check both of them?
Oh wait, no, sorry, I was thinking about Karn.
Yeah, okay.
He is going back for the big chest.
Just another heart container.
But I was still right, at least.
That is true.
Oh, the cake was in the chain chomp room.
Yeah, so you didn't need the lamp to get to it. Man, I always wish that I could like have these seeds afterwards to see what all the rest of the unchecked items were. Because like I'm really curious what's on Lumberjack Smiths and all that other stuff. But we're likely not going to find out.
No, with both of our runners in go mode, anything overworld is not worth checking.
Yeah. Now Flip having the hook shot for Ice Palace makes killing these penguin things a lot faster.
And I'm sure he'll be happy once he finds his Master Sword.
Oh yeah. The hook shot is really nice because it one-shots pretty much anything that it can damage.
And anything it can't kill, it will stun.
Yeah, that's also very nice. Didn't quite get the switch, but gets it that time. Karn deciding to check Mimic Cave at the very last second.
Not worth the time, but still, you don't want to leave something like that to chance.
Right. I would definitely feel better off checking it than not.
Flip setting up for his Ice Palace jump.
Slightly too low. See, that right there, what Flip's doing is where I always mess it up too. But now it looks like he's got it.
Yeah, you can tell you're too low when you bounce off the pegs and land in the pit.
If in anything too high, you'll just go the normal direction, but then just fall. Both of these runners making fairly quick progress in both these dungeons. Flip about to get his second sword after he comes back through here, though. Sure, he'll be quite happy to see that.
Yeah, it looks like both of our runners are going to get to Ganon's Tower at pretty much the same time, so this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be close for sure.
I've been seeing a number of really close races lately, so I'm rather kind of happy for that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It makes for a lot of interesting viewing, that's for sure. There was even a tie the other week. And there's Flip's Master Sword.
If nothing else, it's a testament to how any one runner is never out until it's over.
Oh yeah, definitely. Flip's definitely made up a lot of ground from where he was 30 minutes ago.
The irony being that 30 minutes before that, Flip was in the lead.
Yeah, this has been a very back and forth race. Karn opting to ignore the last two chests, which we know is a correct decision, but and Flip making his way down into Cold Stare, while Karn is right behind him going into Trinex.
This definitely gives Karn the advantage, though, having already been on Death Mountain.
Yeah, that is true. Karn's going to have a much easier time trekking back to Ganon's Tower. But depending on where that big key is, we could see some really interesting switch-ups.
Karn looking like he's having a little bit of trouble dealing with these heads.
Meanwhile, Flip taking care of Cold Stare real fast. So Flip could make up some ground here.
Ooh, Karn on his last shot.
Yep, and hadn't damaged it before that, but he does have a green potion, so that'll help. Half Magic was in one of the chests in Swamp that Karn opted to skip, correct?
Yeah, it was in the Vanilla Compass chest, which Karn
Okay.
completely passed over.
Flip picking up some blue potions before he makes the Ganon's Tower run.
With how trolly this seat has been, that is not a bad idea.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Karn, meanwhile, real close to dying. One more hit from Trinex will take him, but he is done.
Karn danced with the snake and came out the other end.
The Snake Charmer. Just 10 bombs.
But it gives him his final crystal, and it's just a dash to the left at this point.
Oh yeah. And Flip's coming right up on his heels.
Now, we haven't brought it up yet, since both runners have finished clearing their 7th crystal, but there's a number between 1 and 22.
That's any... the Ganon's Tower big key can be in one of 22 chests. That's why we have that number. And so we like to play a game where we post our guests in chat.
We've got some high guesses and low guesses. My personal favorite is chest 15, which is usually the vanilla chest.
Yeah, depending on which direction you take. I'm gonna go 8. And that's 2, so...
Karn opting to check the right side first, since he did find that key.
Interesting. That key does tend to lead people to the right side, but we'll see if that pays off.
Now, unfortunately, since this is the Link to the Past Randomizer channel and not the Speed Gaming Network, this isn't going to be an official guessing game, so no leaderboards tonight, folks.
But still fun, and we're getting some divergence. So one of these runners is gonna get the key a lot faster than the other. By a lot faster, I mean Karn's basically already done with the east side.
The torch having a little bit of love.
So that's 3 for Flip. The question is, which one do we take at this point? I don't know if I can keep track of 2 sets of numbers. Oh, and there's a Tempered Sword.
And the big E.
So for Flip, I believe that was what? 3, 4, 5. But for Karn, that's gonna be... Is that...
9.
Yeah, 9. I was about to get there. You know better than to let me try to do math.
Yes, I'm sure Zora would love your accounting skills.
Yes. Flip taking nice advantage of being able to swing your sword to position the mimics.
Karn opting to clear the rest of the Stalkhouse room. Not really finding anything useful though.
So that Tempered Sword is going to make this ending a lot quicker.
Tempered Sword with silver arrows is going to make for a very fast phase forward.
Oh yeah. But still, these runners are still not very far apart. It's about, what, 2 runes difference?
Oh yeah, this very easily can come down to execution at this point. Any mistake could cost either of these runners the game.
Easily. Flip making nice work of those Stalfos with the Fire Rod.
Karn getting ready to head into his gauntlet here in a few moments. Neither runner ended up finding the powder, so
Yep.
not a whole lot of safety left.
All they've got is their potions. Which I don't know if Karn... I don't know which ones Karn has left, but he's opting to take the fairy room, which can only be accessed by bonking there. Or hovering, if you're fast enough to do that.
Poor Andy.
Yeah. Hovering is very, very difficult. I've done it one time.
Flip making short work of land mode 2, and it is so satisfying using the Carnathfd in that room.
Oh yeah. Although I think this next room coming up is possibly even more so. That's one of my favorite like sequences in the whole game right there.
Yes, getting a 1 cycle in that room is quite the feat.
Alright.
Karn heading into his land mode 2 fight. Meanwhile, Flip is making his way towards Troll Dorm 2.
Yeah, so really, as we said before, any mistakes are going to be really costly.
Karn getting a nice 3 cycle for land mode 2, but I wonder if that's going to cost him more time than he would like.
Basically, unless Flip takes a fall at Troll Dorm, which he doesn't, or takes a fall again,
And we find the map.
in the very last chest that they're going to open.
I don't know. I think Flip's going to go ahead and open up Pyramid Fairy.
That would certainly be interesting.
Obviously, I would not recommend opening up Pyramid Fairy at this point.
Oh yeah, no. Unless you really wanted that free potion. / fairy. It's random what she gives you.
Flip getting 2 hits on Aghanim.
And then just a single. And a double. So one more hit ought to do it. And there it is.
Well, at 1 hour and 53 minutes, Aghanim 2 is down. It's time to go get us some bacon.
Yep, and Karn is only a couple rooms away from Moldorm 2, so we'll see if he can make up the lost ground.
I have to wonder what Karn is looking for in these chests that he might need.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got pretty much everything that I would think I would need.
Because there is a slight difference between tempered and golden for phases 1, 2, or for phases 1 and 2, but phase 3 and 4 are pretty much identical, whether you have golden or tempered.
That is true. Which, I mean, checking those chests doesn't take a ton more time, so I could see it being worth the makeup if he found the golden sword.
Flip heading into phase 3 now.
Ooh, Flip almost taking the death there, but luckily he does have some blue potions. Alright, now it's just 4 silver arrows to Ganon, and Flip will be done. And there's one right there. Gets that torch glitch though, which is super handy. He's gonna get a nice double here, or unless he fires down.
Almost a double.
Just one more hit from Flip. And he's got it.
And that's going to lock it up for Flip.
Yep, I don't have the Speed Racing TV page pulled up with his time. We won't be able to give you the official time, but his timer says 1:55:20.
It looks like Flip's official time on SRTV is going to be 1:55:27.
Well, there you go. Still a very close race. Karn's going to finish up about 2 minutes behind. Assuming it doesn't take a fall. And Karn moving on to the second phase now.
Karn opting for the cape, which I think is a very good decision at this point.
Yeah, definitely. He's running a little low on hearts, and I didn't see if he had any potions left. But at this point, it's just one hit per Ganon teleport, and then same 4 silver arrows.
And on to phase 4, taking a fire bat to the face, unfortunately.
Not quite getting his last hit. Because if you hit Ganon into the pit with the silver arrow, then he will immediately teleport, so you can't get doubles from that. Oh.
Karn's got to be real careful with this one.
Yeah, just one hit away. But so is Ganon. Oh, never mind. I must have miscounted.
Yeah, one of those early shots ended up not counting.
And with that, Karn's going to be done.
All right, GG to both of our runners tonight. Let's see if we can get them in here for a quick interview.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I must have the wrong speed game or speed racing TV pulled up because I cannot see their times.
Yeah, it looks like Karn's official time is going to be 1:57:47.
And we are joined by Karn himself. GG.
Oh, hey guys, GG.
That was kind of a brutal seed.
That was disgusting, putting Hammer up in Hera like that, and, well, yeah.
I was going to ask.
we could tell that your trip around the world was a little frustrating, to say the least.
Honestly, though, I'm kicking myself because I should have realized that you could just go back downstairs, refresh the pots, and the enemies wouldn't respawn.
Yeah, at first that put you behind by quite a bit, but it was actually surprisingly close with how quickly you two switched. You guys ended up switching back and forth a couple of times.
And yeah, seeing that he finished so soon ahead of me, I'm like, wow, if I hadn't wasted that, 20 minutes, I probably would have had that.
The curious thing is, while you were heading into Turtle Rock, he had just finished beating Argus, and at that point he hadn't been to Ice Palace. So he only had the fighter sword.
Oh, God, I couldn't believe how long it took me to find a sword. So he had a sword way before I did, obviously.
Yeah, it was about, 20 minutes before?
And here we are joined by Flip. GG. But yeah, Flip ended up going into Swamp Palace very early, comparatively, and getting that fighter sword, and ended up clearing pretty much all of his dungeons with just the fighter sword. Ice Palace, I believe, was his final dungeon, where he did eventually end up getting the Master Sword, obviously.
One of the things I kick myself the most on is if I had checked the floating islands back when I went up to Death Mountain the first time and seen the hook shot, I should have gone there right after I got the gold mitt.
Yeah, that definitely would have made it faster, saved a trip up the mountain. Or
But even with the differences in routing, it was still a very close race. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch the VOD on this one.
yeah, other than the whole Hera hiccup, how do you feel your other execution was?
Honestly, once I got that, I thought it did fantastic. It made up so much time.
Yeah, you certainly did make up a lot of time.
One of the key differences is that when you went into pod the first time, you ended up clearing the back half and finding the boots. Flip ended up having to double dip and come back for them.
That's one of the things, yeah, like dark rooms don't scare me except for that stupid dark maze.
Yeah, the dark maze can be kind of difficult for sure.
Yeah, the logic appeared to want you to go to Swamp Palace first and then into Pod and Eastern.
So out of curiosity, with Flip doing Swamp so early, did he clear the left side?
He did.
Anything of value?
The half magic was in the Swamp Compass chest.
Oh, that would have been handy.
Yeah, but other than half magic, I think that was about it.
Yeah, the half magic is the only item that you ended up missing out on.
One of the things I really noticed about the seed, I don't know if you guys noticed it, it seemed to be really cheap. I never had any rupees.
Don't know if I noticed that specifically, but yeah, that's interesting.
I think part of the issue with you in particular is that Flip opted to do the Houlihan room.
That would have made a difference, yeah, because I know when I was getting ready to do Ice and even Turtle Rock, I wasn't even going to do the Fat Fairy check, but I didn't have any money.
Oh, that's a good point. You do need money to buy the bomb. I forget about that.
Yeah, neither runner opted to check Fat Fairy this time around.
Still, overall, a pretty quick seed. It's a pretty low collection rate there, too.
Yeah, curious to see my numbers.
Unfortunately, it does look like we're having some technical issues getting Flip into for an interview, so sorry about that.
But he did say GG and good luck in the next round to Karn.
At this point, Flip moves on to 3-0. Karn, you are now 2-1. So still very respectable standing at this point in the tournament.
And to be totally honest, I'm shocked I was 2-1. I figured I would have been like 1-2 by now with so many great runners are going on in this tournament.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good ones this time around.
It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this shakes up.
Looks like we'll be coming up on your numbers in a minute here, though.
But I do want to take a minute to say thank you to both of our runners, as well as everyone working behind the scenes to make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank my co-commentator. Is it Chen Zikoden?
Yes, actually.
Oh, I've never said the whole thing. I just called you Chen earlier. But yeah, I want to thank you for being here, as well as our tracker, who is Kippy.
Yeah, definitely thanks to be with you guys too. It's such a great honor to have all this restreaming happening.
Yeah, and thanks to you, Karn, and Flip as well for running this race. It was really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, that was one of the other primary differences, and one of the reasons why Flip was able to catch up and pass you. You actually got to Ganon's Tower first, but the big key being where it was, Flip opted for the standard route, where you went left side, right side first.
Oh, and see, I'm kicking myself for that because I never do right side. I always go straight left. But I figured I was just so far behind, I had to gamble it and hope he didn't do left and it was on the right side.
Yeah, it's definitely a gamble to take. But
But at this point, I do want to say thank you one last time to everyone involved. We are going to go ahead and shut this down here in a bit.
yeah, I do believe there are still a couple of other races going on, though. Starting at 11 o'clock Eastern time, which was about 15 minutes ago. We have Chex Human versus PRD Wong on Speed Gaming 5, so you can go ahead and check that one out. I think that's the only one going at the moment.
Looks like we have another race, Hitaka versus Jake Hopes for Life on Speed Gaming 4, which should still be going.
Oh, yeah.
As well as Dementius the Tormentor versus Lanaxian over on Speed Gaming 1. So still plenty of randomizer to go here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So if y'all are still hoping to watch any, go ahead and go give one of those, go check it out. But once again, I have been Darkened Sky.
And I'm Chenzi Coden, and good night.
We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next race.